Egypt has always been known for its large desert areas. And now, the North African country wants to completely transform itself. From new world-class tourist hubs to compete with places like Italy and Greece, to cities where you'll find the biggest mosque and tallest skyscraper in Africa. Throw in Egypt's first ever high-speed rail, the expansion project of their Suez economic zone, and even a new massive megacity. It becomes pretty clear that Egypt is very ambitious about their plans for the future. The question is, can they actually pull it off and transform their sandy dunes into these massive megaprojects? Hey, I'm your host Regis, and today we're going to take a closer look at Egypt's megaprojects of the future. Egypt's economic situation has been pretty up and down for the past couple of years. Just last year, for example, the North African country's foreign debt was at a record high, and about 60% of its citizens are either living below or extremely close to the poverty line. But while Egypt's economy has certainly seen better days, current projections are actually looking pretty good. As you can see, it shows that Egypt might be well on its way up in terms of GDP growth rate. A lot of this optimism has to do with the country's industrious plans for the future. These plans include a string of megaprojects currently in the pipeline, and we'll get to those in just a second. But first, we need to explain that all of these projects fall under what the Egyptian government is calling Egypt Vision 2030. So, the core idea of this vision is to invest in the people of Egypt and improve their standard of living. This not only means more jobs and equal opportunities for Egyptians, but also more and better housing for a population growing at an enormous rate. This vision focuses on three main areas. The first one is the country's economic development. An example of this is the Golden Triangle project that seeks to turn a huge chunk of Upper Egypt into a new urban economic hub. The second area of focus is social development and includes programs and initiatives to encourage gender equality and protect women in the workplace. The third and final area is the country's environmental development, like the newly approved onshore Gulf of Suez wind farm. Right now, the economic development seems to be the top priority here, and understandably so. In the last 10 years, Egypt has invested billions of dollars in crucial infrastructure needed to connect cities, towns, and villages, build more homes, and boost its economy by attracting foreign investors. One megaproject that aims to do a lot of this is currently underway on the northern coast, in a city they're calling New El-Alamein City. Once a desert battleground used by the Allied forces during World War II, the old town of El-Alamein is now being transformed into a new, top-notch Mediterranean tourist destination, one that hopes to compete with similar tourist spots you'll find in places like Italy and Greece. In fact, this new city is already flourishing as a hotspot summer resort. It's hosted the New El-Alamein Festival for the past 2 years now, and the rise in real estate prices reflects the city's growing popularity among foreigners. And no wonder. It has a 14-kilometer promenade along the Mediterranean coast, with luxury villas built on reclaimed land and more than 15,000 hotel rooms that have already been built. While New El-Alamein is focused on tourism to attract foreign investors, it also aims to alleviate the congestion of its capital, Cairo. The plan is to have 3 million people live in this sprawling high-tech urban city by the year 2030, in line with Egypt's vision. In the downtown district, 4 high-rise residential buildings are already towering into the sky, and there's also an additional skyscraper that stands at 300 meters high. And with new crystal artificial lagoons currently in the works, it's clear that they're trying to make this once desert area feel like a tropical oasis. The plan to boost the country's tourism and attract foreign capital seems to be working here, because even though construction is still underway, investments are pouring in. In fact, New El-Alamein City has been so successful so far that further expansion in the area is already happening, right next door, in a place called Ras Al-Hekma. As recently as 2023, this part of Egypt was mostly known for its untouched beaches and olive and fig farming. Only around 10,000 people live there because it is very much a desert area, much like New El-Alamein City was before its development. Now, it's being turned into a waterfront city to attract tourists and investors just like its new sister city. A deal was signed with the United Arab Emirates Fund to turn it into a tourist hub the size of Washington, D.C. With a price tag of $35 billion, this is the single largest foreign investment deal in the history of Egypt. And we're going to take a look at this insane megaproject in just 1 second. But first, we quickly want to thank CyberGhost VPN for making this video possible. You probably already know this, but connecting to public Wi-Fi in a restaurant, hotel, or airport might make you fear that someone could steal your information. And that fear is honestly pretty realistic. Your internet service provider, public Wi-Fi, or even websites you visit can all track exactly what you do online. Well, here's the solution. CyberGhost VPN, one of the best VPN services on the market that encrypts all your information and reroutes it through their secure servers. This way, you can hide your IP address and no one will even know about your online activity. They have over 38 million users worldwide and a near perfect score on Trustpilot. CyberGhost VPN is literally one of the most recommended services on the market. You can use CyberGhost VPN on up to 7 devices at the same time and share it with your family or friends. By simply selecting one of their over 100 virtual locations, you can also find better online deals and unblock exclusive content from platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and more. And if you're still not sure, CyberGhost offers a 45-day money-back guarantee. Check them out at cyberghostvpn.com/megabuilds for 84% off and 4 months for free, and start browsing safely. Thanks again to CyberGhost VPN for sponsoring this video, and now let's take a closer look at Egypt's massive Ras Al-Hekma megaproject. For the government, this move is all about trying to save the economy and get people to buy more land and property on Egyptian soil. But what's this new waterfront city gonna look like? Well, the layout consists of 11 districts, and they're divided into 3 main areas. The coastal area will be developed with tourists in mind, so think luxury resorts, hotels, entertainment venues, and stuff like that. Residential buildings will also be built in certain parts along the coast, enough to accommodate up to 2 million people. The middle zone will be kept to preserve and continue the farming of olives and figs. And light industries will fill up the final section, even though it's not really clear what exactly those will be just yet. What we do know is that there will also be hospitals, schools, and universities, and an airport just south of the city. All this to accommodate at least 8 million tourists annually, and make it attractive enough for people to actually live there. Now, that all sounds promising, but to actually get people to these coastal hubs on a daily basis, well, that's another problem altogether. You see, these locations have long been regarded as remote sites due to the country's lack of proper infrastructure. And that's why a big part of Egypt's Vision 2030 is the construction of the country's first ever high-speed rail network. In 2021, Egypt's National Authority of Tunnels signed a $4.5 billion deal with Siemens Mobile to develop a proper rail system. This rail network will not only connect towns and cities that have historically been difficult to access, it'll also support economic activities like freight transportation. And yes, this system will include the country's first ever high-speed rail line. The deal involves building about a third of the overall planned 1,800-kilometer network that will spread all across Egypt. Called the Green Line, this first rail will connect port cities like Ain Sokna along the Red Sea to Alexandria on the northern coast. From there, it'll pass through all these new tourist cities, all the way to Marsa Matruh. The 2 remaining lines, called the Blue Line and the Red Line, were signed off a year later. The Blue Line will connect the greater Cairo region with Aswan along the Nile River, and will eventually extend all the way to Sudan. Meanwhile, the Red Line will connect Luxor with the port town of Safaga. Apart from these rail lines, the massive infrastructure project will include multiple high-speed trains, regional trains, and freight trains capable of serving at least 60 Egyptian cities. This, together with the building of depots and freight stations, brings the entire cost of the project to an estimated $23 billion. Now, that's a pretty high price tag, but once completed, this network will be able to transport an average of 30 million people every year. What's more, it'll save people almost 50% on travel time, thanks to train speeds of up to 230 kilometers per hour. This alone has even more advantages than simply transporting tourists and goods. The ultimate goal behind this is to ensure that at least 90% of all Egyptians have access to rail connections in the future. With that, the country could cut their carbon emissions by as much as 70%. That is, if people actually make the switch from cars and buses. This not only forms part of Egypt Vision 2030's environmental goals, but it also takes us into the country's next megaproject. A gigantic energy project in a town on the same coast as the new waterfront resort of Ras Al-Hekma, the Dabaa nuclear power plant. Egypt has long been reliant on natural gas as their main source of power generation, but that is about to change. In the not-too-distant future, cities like Ras Al-Hekma will rely heavily on this new 4-unit power plant as their main source of electricity. In fact, once finished, the plant will be able to carry around 10% of Egypt's electricity generation capacity and light up as many as 4 million homes. The Dabaa plant is a $30 billion project between Russia and Egypt that was first signed in 2015. Building a nuclear plant, though, can take some time. And with the COVID-19 pandemic, the construction permit was only issued in 2022. This unit is set to start operating next year, and all 4 units are projected to be online by, you guessed it, 2030. The Dabaa project aims to create thousands of jobs and support Egypt's industrial development, all while providing the country with another energy source. But okay, let's face it. Nuclear power, new tourist destinations, and high-speed trains will probably not be enough to catapult Egypt's economy all by themselves. And that's where another megaproject comes into play. One that involves the expansion of an already existing economic zone. I'm of course talking about the Suez Canal economic zone. This zone was officially established back in 2015. Its goal? Turn a space more than twice the size of Washington, D.C. into a gateway for trading between the East and the West. Egypt is trying to benefit from this positioning by developing new industries to attract foreign investments within this very region. These industries include everything from logistics to textiles, solar, and tire manufacturing. So far, the zone has created 100,000 new jobs, and there will be more to come. In March of this year, a $1.7 billion deal was signed to build a metal industries complex in Ain Sokhna's industrial zone. This complex will include 9 newly built factories that will ultimately create another 8,000 jobs. Up until now, around $6 billion in foreign investment has been poured into the expansion of this economic zone. And the plan is to attract even more money so that they can build additional container berths at the East Port Said zone. So yes, expect this economic hub to become bigger and bigger in the near future. From all of the projects of Egypt Vision 2030, one stands out, not only in its colossal scale, but also in its true intention. And before we get into that, just a quick thank you from all of us here at MegaBuilds for watching our videos. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to our channel. We'd really appreciate it. Okay, so about this mega project in Egypt that really stands out from the rest. Let me introduce you to Egypt's new administrative capital. Yeah, you might have heard about this one, maybe even here on this channel. Egypt is building a new capital city 45 kilometers east of its current capital, Cairo. According to the government, the main motivation behind this $58 billion project is to alleviate Cairo's heavy population density by relocating people to this new capital. It's supposed to have enough homes to house around 6.5 million people, around a quarter of Cairo's population. According to the original plans, it will feature an airport bigger than Heathrow, a green space double the size of New York's Central Park, and a theme park 4 times the size of Disneyland. But currently, the airport only carries 1 million passengers a year, and there's been no update on the construction of a theme park. But that's another story, maybe for another video. Quite a lot, however, has already been constructed, including Africa's largest mosque, an Olympic-sized sports city stadium, and the tallest building in Africa. Another distinctive feature of the NAC is that it'll serve as the new center of Egypt's government. The new presidential palace, parliament, and most of the country's government agencies are located on the east side of the city. That also includes the planned headquarters for the Egyptian Ministry of Defense. some observers have noted that this relocation of the government away from Cairo may raise questions to the actual reasons behind this move. Meanwhile, many citizens in Cairo continue to face challenges with traffic congestion, air pollution, and high living costs. And all of this has gotta make you ask, will these megaprojects truly help to elevate the standard of living for all Egyptians? And will Egypt be able to afford all of this in the end? Well, tell us what you think about Egypt's plans for the future in the comments down below. And if you want to try out CyberGhost VPN, use our link for 84% off and 4 months for free, as well as 45 days money back guaranteed. Enjoy having full access to blocked content on the internet, all while browsing safely. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.